Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly build wealth, while others work their entire lives and barely get ahead? The answer might shock you. It has nothing to do with how hard you work or how much money you earn. It has everything to do with what you were taught about money. Robert Kiyosaki grew up with two father figures. One was his biological father, a highly educated man with a PhD who worked his way up to become the head of education in Hawaii. The other was his best friend's father, a man who never finished 8th grade but went on to become one of the wealthiest men in Hawaii. Kiyosaki calls them his poor dad and his rich dad. Both men were strong, charismatic, and influential. Both offered advice, but they taught completely opposite lessons about money. And those differences changed everything. This is the foundation of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It is not just a book about getting rich. It is a complete rewiring of how you think about money, work, and financial security. Today, we are breaking down the core lessons that separate the wealthy from everyone else. Let us start with the most fundamental lesson. The rich do not work for money. Money works for them. Poor Dad believed in the traditional path. Go to school, get good grades, find a secure job, and work your way up. He saw a steady paycheck as the ultimate goal, a job with benefits, a pension, and security. This is what most of us are taught. Rich Dad saw things differently. He understood that working for money is a trap. When you work for money, you are trading your time for dollars, and time is your most valuable asset. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. The poor and middle class work for money. The rich have money work for them. This shift in thinking is the first step toward financial freedom. But how do you make money work for you? This brings us to the second core lesson. You must understand the difference between assets and liabilities. This sounds simple, but Kiyosaki argues that most people get this completely wrong. Here is his definition. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. That is it. It does not matter what accountants say or what your banker tells you. If it puts money in your pocket, it is an asset. If it takes money out, it is a liability. Now here is where it gets controversial. Your house is not an asset. Let that sink in. Most people believe their home is their biggest asset. But according to Kiyosaki's definition, it is a liability. Why? Because it takes money out of your pocket every single month. Mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, utilities. Your house is draining your cash flow. The wealthy understand this. They buy assets, real estate that generates rental income, stocks that pay dividends, businesses that produce cash flow, intellectual property that earns royalties. These are true assets because they put money in your pocket while you sleep. The poor buy liabilities and think they are assets. The middle class buy liabilities and call them assets. The rich buy assets that generate income to pay for their liabilities. This leads to the third lesson. Mind your own business. Most people confuse their profession with their business. Your profession is what pays your bills. Your business is your asset column. A doctor can be a doctor by profession, but their business might be real estate investing. Rich Dad taught Kiyosaki to keep his day job but start building his asset column immediately. Save money not to save it, but to invest it. Every dollar you earn is an employee that should work for you 24 hours a day, generating more income. The fourth lesson is about taxes. The rich understand the tax system in a way that most people do not. Kiyosaki explains that corporations were created by the rich as a tool to protect their wealth. The poor and middle class work, get taxed, and then spend what is left. The rich earn, spend, and then get taxed on what is left. This is not about cheating the system. It is about understanding the rules. Employees work, earn, pay taxes, and spend. Business owners earn, spend on legitimate business expenses, and then pay taxes on the profits. The tax laws are written to encourage business ownership and investment. The fifth lesson focuses on financial literacy. The wealthy do not just work harder, they work smarter by increasing their financial intelligence. Kiyosaki identifies 4 main areas of financial intelligence that you must develop. First, accounting. You must understand how to read financial statements. This is the language of money. If you want to build an empire, you need to know the numbers. Second, investing. This is the science of money making money. It is about understanding markets, strategies, and opportunities. Third, understanding markets. This is the supply and demand side of investing. It is about recognizing opportunities that others miss. Fourth, understanding the law, tax advantages, and legal protection. The rich use corporations and trusts to protect their assets and minimize taxes legally. The more you develop these 4 areas, the more financial opportunities you will recognize. Opportunities are everywhere, but you need the intelligence to see them. The 6th lesson is perhaps the most important. Work to learn, not to earn. Poor Dad always said, go to school, get good grades, and find a safe, secure job. Rich Dad said, learn to manage risk instead of avoiding it. Most people choose a career based on salary and security. The wealthy choose careers and opportunities based on what they will learn. They see jobs as training grounds. They want to learn sales, marketing, systems, and leadership. These skills matter more than a steady paycheck because these skills build wealth. Kiyosaki worked for free at Rich Dad's businesses to learn. He joined the Marine Corps to learn leadership. He took a job with Xerox to overcome his fear of rejection and learn sales. He was not chasing money. He was chasing knowledge and skills. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Fear and greed control most people's financial lives. Fear of not having money makes them work hard. Then once they have money, greed takes over and makes them spend it. This cycle keeps them trapped in what Kiyosaki calls the rat race. Wake up, go to work, pay bills, repeat. More money just means bigger bills. The rich understand that building wealth requires controlling your emotions and thinking long term. They delay gratification. They let their assets grow. They reinvest their returns. Compounding does the heavy lifting. Which of these principles do you find the most challenging to apply in your own life? The concepts are simple, but execution requires discipline. Let us move to the final insight. The most powerful idea in Rich Dad, Poor Dad is this. The single most powerful asset you have is your mind. If you train it well, it can create enormous wealth. An untrained mind can create extreme poverty. Your reality is shaped by your thoughts. Poor Dad saw obstacles everywhere. I cannot afford it. That is too risky. I am not smart enough. Rich Dad saw opportunities. He asked better questions. How can I afford it? How can I reduce the risk? What do I need to learn? The difference between the rich and the poor starts in their heads. It is not about the circumstances you are born into. It is about what you choose to learn and how you choose to think. Kiyosaki's message is clear. Financial education is not taught in schools. The system trains employees, not entrepreneurs. It produces people who work for money instead of making money work for them. But you can break free. Start by changing your mindset. Build your financial intelligence. Focus on acquiring assets. Mind your own business. The path to wealth is not a secret. It is simply a choice. A choice to learn what schools do not teach. A choice to think differently than the masses. A choice to build assets instead of liabilities. If you found value in this summary, subscribe to this channel. We upload daily summaries of the most impactful books to accelerate your learning and growth. And if this video helped clarify your understanding of money and wealth building, hit the like button. Your feedback helps us reach more people who need these ideas.